Next kind of problem in interpass communication is reader writer problem. We'll solve this with the concept of semaphores. What is general meaning of reader writer problem? Where multiple readers are allowed to read, multiple readers are allowed to read the data, and there might be writers can able to write the data. There might be writers can able to write the data. Right? The simple problem can able to clearly understood. There is definitely a problem. What is that? While I am performing the reading operation, for example, there is a database. There is a database. The database contains the word CSC. CSC. While I am trying to read, while I am trying to perform the read operation at E, if you are able to allow writer to modify the data E as yes. For some people, what will happen? This data item will be read as CSE, and for some people, what will happen? This data item will be read as CSS. Am I right or not? So you should not make the ambiguity answers to the readers. So to overcome that, we are going to implement this particular solution again with respect to the semaphores concept. Right? So what might be the chances of executing a critical section here? If I assume that this is a critical section, does reader and the another reader can able to access the critical section at the same time? Yes. In the critical section, more than one reader can allow to execute the critical section. Good. What about the situation where reader and the writer, will they use the critical section at the same time? No, you should not allow. If you are going to allow, what will happen? You are going to get ambiguity results, or you might have some data loss, or you might have overridden the data, right? Yes. So this is what happened here. CSC is overridden with CSS, and if first writer is there in the critical section and later can we allow the reader? Again no. If writer is there, can we allow another writer in the critical section? Can we allow? You should not again. There might be a data loss. When one person is writing the data, another person should not allow to write the data because of again the problem of data inconsistency. Right? If you are going to understand the concept of count equal to count plus 1, what will happen? This person might not updated the data back. Parallelly, the other person has taken the data and he has updated it. After that, later at the end, process A updated it. Process A updated it. With respect to this person, what will be the result? Assume that 4. But at the end, he has done the operation. With respect to this person, the final value will be 5. Final value will be 5, right? Now, what the second person will do? Second person will think that the value is 4. But if he retrieved it, the value will be 5. This is what? Data inconsistency. That situation will occur when you go with the writer allowed in the critical section directly. Right? So just go with the lock variable concept. Lock variable concept in the synchronization mechanism of without busy waiting solution, so that you can get the clear idea. Okay. So these are the things that might be possible to work with the critical section. So you can understood that reader is allowed, but all the remaining chances are not allowed. So for that, let us try to write the code. So I am trying to take the variables. The variables are semaphore variable, which is of type binary semaphore, whose mutex value is 1, and I am trying to take one more variable which is related to database, whose value is again 1, which means that what? How many persons can able to allow to access the database at the same time? only one. If it is with respect to reader writer, writer reader, or writer writer, but you can able to allow more than one particular process if it is with respect to reader reader. So to make it this kind of implementation, I made the database as 1, and I am going to make use of some reader count value as 0 to make it identify how many persons are there inside the critical section to perform the read operation. So let us try to write it. Void, the code I am trying to write it for writer, that's a better one here. Void writer, which is not taking any parameter, and I am going to go with an infinite loop, means writer is producing the items continuously. I am going to perform wait of database, and then I will access the database. Database is something like a kind of critical section only, shared resource, and I will perform signal of DB. That's it. This is a simple code with respect to the writer, right? But the complexity of the code for reader is difficult. It is because of we have to monitor many number of readers also, right? So let us try to analyze it. Void reader void, I am going to perform while of 1, means infinite times I am trying to perform the read operation. I am trying to perform wait operation on the mutex rc equal to rc plus 1 if rc double equal to 1, means if one person is allowed for reading, if one person is allowed for reading, what I have to do? I should not allow other person to enter. I should not allow other person to enter. That's why I am making the down operation in the DB. Means initially value of down DB is 1. When I make the down on the DB, it will be led to what? 0. Then there won't be allowed to execute another writer operation. Later I will perform up of mutex, then I will go for database. You should not directly go for accessing the database. Then I will go for wait of mutex rc equal to rc minus 1 if rc value is double equal to 0. I am going to perform signal of DB. Signal of DB. Guys, here signal, up, V all are having the same meaning, right? That we have seen in the counting semaphore. Right. You can go with here. So you can go with the same name only. That's better. Instead of up, I can go with the signal, and then after that I will go with the signal of mutex. So this is the while loop, and then I will end up with the complete reader solution. So this is the code which can able to satisfy the given requirement with the concept of semaphores. So right now analyze this particular problem. What is the meaning of this semaphore mutex equal to 1? I can say it as a kind of binary semaphore where your buffer will be accessed. In what kind of fashion? Buffer will be accessed in mutual exclusion fashion. Means only one person allowed to access it. And DB is also kind of binary semaphore which is meant for to access the DB in a mutual exclusion fashion. And RC is a kind of readers count which is meant for how many readers are using the database at the same time. Then that will be mentioned using readers count as 0. Means initially how many number of readers present in the database? 0. That is what this count. So I can say that number of readers present in the database will be defined by using a RC value. So you might get one question. For every problem I am going to write certain logic and I am giving certain kind of analysis, right? So you have to think in such a way that how this code is working and how the code is working properly. That's it. So you have to just go with the analysis. Then how you are going to remember it? By just making the practice. Without practice you can't do anything, right? So just go with the practice and then it will be easy for you to remember. Right? Is it possible to write the code at single stretch again? No. Once you are able to practice it many times, then only you can able to write the solutions for it, right? I am trying to get it from the those resources and I am trying to explain. That's it. So now if you go for the analysis part, what kind of analysis can we do? Observe. If I am able to explain these four things, can I say that these four solutions? Can I say this code is working fine? Yes. For example, let me try to start with simple solution writer. Right? This is 1 and 2. This will be 1 and this will be the line number 2, 3, 4, 5 and the line number 6. For example, writer 1 got the chance to execute. When writer 1 got the chance to execute, with the values as I made mutex as 1, db as 1 and RC value as 0, guys. Right? So what is the first statement? Weight of db. Weight of db means it will perform its value by 0, decremented by 1, that is 0. Means it will execute the first line. Can it enter the critical section? Yes. Parallelly. For example, a reader 1 trying to get executing. I mean, assume that this is a database. Inside database, who is there now? Writer. Now can the reader is allowed? No. We should not. Right? So try to execute the code. R1, weight of mutex. What is weight of mutex? 0. And RC value incremented by 1. Then is RC double equal to 1? Yes. There are readers which are ready to enter. Then down of db. Down of db means what? 0 decremented by 1, that is minus 1. Does it allowed now? No. Means reader is not allowed at the line number 2. Which means only writer is inside the critical section and a reader is waiting at the outside. Which means that is it the solution for writer reader problem? Yes or no? Is this principle is satisfying? Yes. Similarly, go with another process. Writer 1, mutex is there which is initially 1, database is there which is initially 1 and reader counter is there which is 0. Now suppose for example writer 1 got chance and will be entering into the critical section by executing the line number 1 as database value as 0. Hope you understood. Right? So this database value is 0. Weight of db which makes the 0. Now again another writer came from outside and trying to execute the line number 1. What is happens? Weight of db means is 0 decremented by 1? No, it won't possible. So it is there inside the waiting state only, which means that writer is not allowed. Means this particular logic is satisfied. Right? Now what will be the other cases? Reader writer. Let us say reader got the chance and whose values will be mutex 1 and db1 and reader counter is 0. If reader got the chance and performing the reader's code, line number 1, weight of mutex which is 0, now executing the second line incremented by 1, and executing the third line. Is RC double equal to 1? Yes. Then executing third line as 0. Right? Second line. Now assume that it has preempted. It has preempted. Right? For example, if it is not preempted, will it execute the third line? Yes. Signal of mutex, which is 1. Signal of mutex is 1. Why they made this as mutex 1? To allow multiple read operations. To allow multiple read operations, they made this as allow. Now, for example, then it will enter the critical section. Now, if preempted, what will happen? If there is one more writer came, writer, weight of db. What is happened? db value is what here? 0. So, it will be in the same state only, not allowed. So, reader writer principle is not allowed satisfying. Right? Now, if reader is executing once again, or so for example, this is reader 1 and this is reader 2. Reader 1 and reader 2. Reader 2 starts executing from which location onwards again? 1. Weight of mutex, will it be allowed or not? Yes, as the value is 1, it is going to be allowed and it will be value is 0. Now RC will be incremented by what? 2. And then is RC double equal to 1? No, it is not. Then it will go for signal of mutex. Means 1, 2, 3, it will enter into the critical section. Now it will enter. Which means that what? Reader 1 is allowed into the critical section. Reader 2 is allowed into critical section. Which means that reader is allowed. Right? So this way you have to analyze the given code so that you can get the clear idea how this problem is going to work for you. Right? Again here the thing is, you have to answer yourself. If I interchange the values, like line number 1 with the line number 2, like that, right? Means first line here will be down of db and the second line here will be weight of mutex. Now what will happen? If I made this code and all the remaining lines of code is as usual, which of the following is going to violate? If you get it, what is your answer? Right? So just analyze it and let me know the answer. Which means here it will go for allowing read write operation. Means it is violating the principle of the reader writer problem. Just try to analyze it so that you can get the clear idea. Right? Reader writer operation is allowed. Means when reader is inside the critical section, writer is also allowed to enter the critical section. But according to the principle, that should not be allowed. Right? So that's the reason you should not modify the given code what I have given already. But in the question, they will modify it and they will ask you, if I interchange it, what will happen? Which of the following is going to be violated? Like that you might get it.